division. They're 6-4. Today, we will determine who those other two at-large/wild card teams are. Matches today, we start at 9 a.m. today. It'll be the New Jersey Freedom against the Seattle Sasquatch. Then two matches that are playoff matches on the court as the Inland Empire Matadors take on Southern Exposure, followed by 3 p.m. when the Colorado Kraken take on the Dallas Tornadoes. And we will finish not only the week, but also the regular season with a little bit of a grudge match here. Chicago Untouchables trying not to go into the offseason in the loss column as they take on the LA Blades. So that sets the scene for the day. We'll start with the opening match, and Noah, this is a chance for some history here. New Jersey is 9-0. They have an opportunity here against a Seattle team that's still reeling. They're 1-8 overall, to be the first team in the history of the NVA to be in 1972 Miami Dolphins, run the regular season unbeaten at 10-0.
Yeah, Ira, and it's two teams on really the opposite ends of the win-loss column. The Freedom undefeated, the Sasquatch only with 1 win on the season, but you said it, there's a chance for history right now. So expect the Freedom to give everything they have and really show that they are this top team and to really put a stamp on this regular season, showing how good they can be. And for the Sasquatch, I mean, they're not going to just roll over. They have a little understaffed, group this weekend, but it's the last match of the regular season in their inaugural season. They're going to give it everything they have. And I mean, when you play a team like the Freedom that is maybe in the win-loss column and maybe on the stat sheet above you, you're going to play up to that and try and do the best you can. So expect a lot of fight, but yeah, a chance for history.
Our second match today, the Matadors against Exposure. Matadors coming at 3-5 overall. They've been good of late. The Southern Exposure, I mean, they were semifinalists last year. You know the pride that they have on that sideline, Matt. They're 3-6 overall. The winner of this match is in. They will have 4 wins. They will clinch a berth. The loser, well, then the math gets a little fuzzy, and that's something we can't determine at this time. So Matadors Exposure, what's your preview for this one?
It should be a very exciting game. Obviously, a lot on the line. A win puts them in, and a loss puts them on the bubble, basically, right? So both teams really, after not great performances yesterday or earlier in the week, trying to get those victories so that they can continue their season. So it's a very important match for both of these sides.
3 o'clock matchup, Dallas Tornadoes. They come in at 3-6 overall. They've lost 4 in a row, however. Meanwhile, the Colorado Kraken, well, they started the year 2-2. They now find themselves 2-7. They have lost their last 5. If Colorado wins today, they're not automatically in. It will come down to some math between them and the loser of the other matchup between the Matadors and the Exposure. Tornadoes win, and they are in, Nick. Where it gets really interesting is, should the Kraken win, then we have math we have to do between the Kraken, the Tornadoes, and the loser of the Matadors Exposure match. Something that we absolutely cannot determine at the time. We have to see how the day plays out and see, number one, which matches maybe go to 5, if there's any clean sweeps involved. Just so many things that we just can't determine sitting here, before these matches occur. But on paper, right now, Felix Chapman is playing at a level that nobody else is. He has reached 30 kills in his last match, and I mean, 57 kills in 2 to 3 last matches combined. At this point, I don't see how a Colorado Kraken team can slow him down today, but maybe there's some fire that we're not seeing in Colorado.
I think you talked about the really important thing here is you don't stop Felix Chapman. You try to slow him down. And the difference when he's getting those 35 kill wins, the teams were not slowing him down. When he's putting up 20, that is, it's still laughable almost thinking about a player getting 20 kills is slowed down. But on a team that relies on him so heavily in that offensive load, him getting 20 kills also very well means that other players are still single-digit kills, and that's just not enough. Yeah. So if you're the Colorado Kraken right now, their middles block well. Haskell is a 4th block leader in the league. So if they didn't really use him yesterday, I'm not too sure why. But if they get those guys in there and they just slow it down, I think they've got a chance. My big concern here is a lack of Alvaro Hidalgo on the outside. We saw that kind of being a lacking spot on the squad yesterday, and it was a bit concerning.
Yeah, they certainly were not the same team offensively without him. Of course, he's doing even bigger things this weekend as he's on The Voice in Peru, and he is advanced. So we have a music superstar from one of our NVA on the court superstars. So it's amazing to have that level of talent. The one X factor today is what they do with that starting lineup for Colorado. Does Rowdy Martin get the nod? with the energy. Maybe you give up a little bit in terms of the hands,
Yeah.
but I think everything else that he provides, his ability to get involved in the blocking game, his athleticism defensively, to me, I don't think you can afford to have him off the court.
I agree with that. Also, you look at the energy. That team looked very flat yesterday. They played a great first set against the Stingers, and then after that, kind of looked like someone turned the lights out, and they were a bit at a loss for how to play that game.
And from what I spoke to Rowdy yesterday, it seemed like maybe part of the decision making for him not to play as much yesterday was because he knew he was going to be needed and to be the blocker up there trying to stop Felix Chapman, or at least slow him down.
And we'll talk more about, that energy that some of these guys have. Rowdy Martin, we saw it yesterday, and we'll talk about the All-Star game at the conclusion of today's preview, but he was a sideline reporter yesterday with Noah during the All-Star game, and he brought his energy to the broadcast. So he certainly is an X factor today for the Colorado Kraken. All right, final match of the day, Chicago Untouchables, the LA Blaze. For the Untouchables, how much do you really want this? The LA Blaze, they're going in a terrible direction right now. A team that I had a lot of high hopes for early this year, they find themselves now having lost 5 in a row. They were 3-6 on the year. The Untouchables, they're 1-8. Their only win is against Seattle. They've lost 4 in a row. Obviously, this is not a beautiful match to end the regular season, but there's a lot of pride on the line, Matt.
Yeah, there certainly is. I mean, LA Blaze, they're playing for purpose, obviously, and is it really a marquee matchup? Maybe not in terms of personnel or the teams, but it still is going to be a very entertaining one, and it's still a good cap to the regular season for us.
And Matt, I think this is actually really interesting because one team is in the playoffs, and they know that, nothing changes that. One team is not in the playoffs, and nothing changes that. But both teams have been losing a lot recently. And so one team is trying to get a win and head into the playoffs on a positive note. The other team is just trying to find some sort of semblance of, okay, we're a winning team and maybe there's hope for this offseason and next season. So both teams want to win this game. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, if you look back to the end of last season, the LA Blaze were kind of in a similar situation as the Chicago Untouchables are right now, where at the end of the year they were out, and that last match it didn't go their way.
Yeah, it came down to like points in a game that separated them. Once it got down through all the tiebreakers, it got down to just minuscule little bits that they missed the postseason. But
they played the final couple sets of their last match,
That's
knowing
right.
that it was already
once,
over
I
for
think
them.
as they lost the first
They had to have a sweep.
Yep. That's
So
right.
in a way, it's a very similar situation as what Chicago Untouchables are. Untouchables obviously know going in the match that there is no tomorrow this season, but last year the LA Blaze knew they had to win at that moment, or that was it, and once they didn't, the rest of the match, you could tell just with the body language was completely different, and we understand why, of course. Before we talk about the predictions today, I want to recap yesterday's All-Star game, Nick. This was a complete success. Even better reaction than we thought. The fans got into it. The high-level volleyball on the court, especially in that first set where it went 33-31 and it was a complete seesaw battle, was absolutely a thing of beauty, and I think has sparked a tradition that the NVA will have for years to come.
Yeah, that was one of those. If you missed every single match this event, go rewatch that. If you want to see why we're so high on what's going on in this league, you can go watch these guys that compete in international competition. That's what it looks like overseas. I mean, that's what the best players in the world, that's what it's looking like. The aggression on the serves, the lack of missed serves for the pressure that they were putting on each other, the passing, I mean, across the board, that was just an absolute treat and just a Saturday night prime time showing for sure. So very appreciative from all the fans that came out, but also all the athletes. I mean, a bunch of the Ramblers guys and Exposure guys just turned around immediately. Some of your Stunners guys had, an hour and a half, 2 hours off, and they had to turn around. So everyone just coming out, and it was a great success.
I mean, Nick, not to overstate it, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was sweet to watch, to be here on the sidelines and see it. I mean, some of the best players in the country and some really high-level international players going at it. And then you have, personalities like Jose Malero ripping jump serves and getting digs like crazy, hyping up the crowd. I mean, it was everything you could want in a volleyball match. I mean, skill, talent, excitement, eccentrics, like it was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to give each you guys a chance to answer. What was your highlight? What stood out the most from yesterday's All-Star game? For me, Noah already touched on it. Jose Molero, coming in as a server, and he went on a run with the National Conference down big time.
It was like 22-13. They got it to.
It was 22-7, and they got it all the way to maybe 22-14, 15. The crowd was amped up behind him. He's 5'3", as you said, ripping jump serves, and everybody got into it. And you saw just good things sometimes do come in small packages.
Oh man, you have to. You're saying what's the highlight there? I enjoyed match point. The underhand serve coming in, a little ping pong starting off there. I don't know, that combination play we were watching with Felix Chapman running the X over the top caught the national team a little bit flat-footed, and he just destroyed that ball.
Yeah. Hard for me to pick one specific player in such a pool of dynamic athletes, right? Felix Chapman, Matt Carnegie, who got the MVP of the match. Like, there are just too many high-quality players in that one to pick just one for me.
Well, I'm actually going to pivot towards your position. I think watching the middle battle, I think that's one of the things the NVA does best at this moment is to strengthen our middles and seeing, I mean, Nick West and the explosiveness of Damani Lenore, and then Matt Carnegie and Uchenna Ofoha on the same team. I mean, they were just trading blows back and forth. And Carnegie, obviously, man of the match. He just, in that sea of all-star players, seemed to soar above the rest. So it was just watching that battle was intense.
And don't forget Russell Holmes bringing back the old school power jump serve, showing that he still has a ton left in the tank. You just got to pitch yourself. It takes a little harder to get out of the garage now, but the jump serves were beautiful yesterday from the 40-year-old former Olympian. All right, we move on to the predictions part of the show, and we all went 4-0 yesterday because every match yesterday went just 3. All 4 of the regular matches plus the All-Star game went 3. We all picked the same. We all went 4-0, so all that happened is we kind of bolstered our won-loss percentages on the year.
We sort of know what we're talking about sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, majority of the time we do, but when we're wrong big. And, well, some of us have been wrong a little more than others. Let's take a look at the standings on the season. I am currently still in first place, where I choose to stay the rest of the year because we will also pick in the playoffs, so I'm not safe just yet because at 34-10 in the year, 773 winning percentage. Nick is just 1 game behind me, so I can't breathe comfortably yet. 33-11, he's 750 on the year. Matt is 30-14 overall. If he picked the New Jersey Freedom more often, he would be in first place.
That is anti-freedom.
He
hates freedom.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. That's the headline. Matt Prosser hates freedom.
Oh, easy now. Come on.
Socialism at its best. Matt's got a 682 winning percentage, 30-14. He is 4 games behind me. Still can catch me because we got a lot of good volleyball coming up in the postseason as well. And then Noah, who got a late start and started a little sketchy there, he is caught up in the winning percentage column at 750, even with Nick on the year at 15-5. So that is the scene of the day. First match of the day. Freedom, Sasquatch. Oh, who should I pick here? I think that the Freedom, which I love Freedom. I'm an American, and they're going to go 10-0, the first team in NVA history. I take New Jersey.
Yeah, I think based on what we saw yesterday, just the simple, transitive property there. Stunners, Freedom, great match on Friday. Then you looked at how Stunners played Sasquatch yesterday. These teams were not in the same league, and we're going to see it again today, that I think Freedom is just about to lay a bit of a beat down here.
Yeah. And for the record, I do love Freedom. Okay.
I'm an American.
Let's just set that straight real quick. And I will choose Freedom in this match as well. Okay.
All right.
It's just heavily lopsided in their favor today.
I'm sure that was tough for you to admit you like Freedom. I also enjoy Freedom, and I'm a proud American, so I'm going to choose Team Freedom, the New Jersey Freedom.
All right, we'll move on to a toss-up. And I think we have a couple toss-ups today for sure, maybe a third. This one, Southern Exposure, Inland Empire, Matadors. There's so many different scenarios here, so many ways this one could go. Nick, you get to start us off.
Okay. I believe that Noah Alessandro can slow down Uchenna Ofoha enough that the pins on the Matadors can make the difference. I think Matadors take this in a long 4 or 5 sets.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. These two teams very even, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen both teams kind of go up and down a little bit, ebbs and flows. I picked Southern Exposure earlier in the season when nobody else did pick them. And today I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to take Exposure to get the victory over the Matadors.
And I'm going to agree with you, man. I want to touch on your point, Nick. I'm going to pick the Southern Exposure because I'm going to roll with who I think is probably the best player on the floor and the player with the most ability to take over a match, and that is Uchenna Ofoha. And I think if they're passing well enough to get him involved in the middle, I don't think the Matadors can do enough to stop him from taking the slight edge in that game because they are very evenly matched.
Yeah.
So I will roll with the Southern Exposure.
It's going to be an exciting match. I'm looking forward to this one. Talking on the ride over this morning with Noah about this one, and I didn't know which way I'm going to go, but the more I think about it, this is one of these matches where not only you ride and die with Uchenna Ofoha, I think Tyler Hubbard-Neal is going to have one of his best matches of the year when they crucially need him. I love the way the Matadors have been playing in the final third of the season, and perhaps they still find a way in based on how this match goes. I think this does go 5, but ultimately, at the end of the day, experience, pride, and talent, I'm going with Southern Exposure as the team that's going to squeak, and I mean squeak, this one out. We move on to another one that could be a little difficult to pick here. It could go either way, depends which Colorado Kraken team comes out. Kraken Tornadoes, Matt, that's our 3 p.m. matchup. If the Tornadoes win, they're in.
Yeah, and I think that's a big purpose for them in this match. So I'm going to pick the Tornadoes to get this victory because that will solidify their ticket to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Agree with you completely, Matt. I think there's ways statistically that they can lose and still get in, but if they want to have any success in the playoffs, they need to get on a winning roll. And I don't think Felix Chapman is going to let them kind of just limp into the playoff. I think he's going to give his best today, and they're going to take it.
Felix Chapman will have 32 kills today. That is my prediction. And the Tornadoes will win this one in 4.
Yeah, I think Felix Chapman's been the name that's the protagonist all season long in the NVA, and while the record of the Tornadoes may not reflect his success, moments like this are what he thrives for. He has not caved all season long. He's ready to put the team on the back, and he's going to take them to the playoffs.
So we all agree on that one, and well, unless an upset by Colorado happens, which really will mess up our little standings here and see who is the final team in the playoffs, Tornadoes will be going to the postseason for the first time in their history. Final match of the regular season, LA Blaze, Chicago Untouchables. The question is, do we have a full Chicago roster, or have we lost anybody to maybe Monday work obligations at this point?
As far as I know, this squad is as full as they are, as far as when they came into the weekend. So I haven't heard anything otherwise. That's a small note. Matadors don't have Jordan Wally today, so that means Nick Ramos will be starting on the outside, which hurts their passing a bit, in my opinion. Just a quick note for everyone in terms of something to look forward to, how that plays out. But to bring us back to Chicago, as far as I know, bookending our weekend, they haven't lost anyone, but remains to be seen.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one. It's just two teams that have been allergic to losing and allergic to closing out games as of late, right? So it seems this is who can actually take one to the very end. And I think if this wasn't the last match of the day, I might roll the Chicago upset, if you would call it. But I think because it is the last match, LA is pretty much the home team. Their season's over, they want to be done. I think the Blaze will pull it out just with kind of more to fight for, more spirit at that point in the night. So I'm going to take the Blaze.
I'm going to make a pick that I wasn't expecting to make at this point in the season, but I don't like the way the LA Blaze are playing right now. I feel as if that energy that they had earlier in the year, especially when Monty Lenore really kind of emerged onto the scene, it just isn't there at this point. I think Chicago does not want to go into the offseason on yet another loss. That would be their 5th in a row. And they're going to come out today. They've played some really long matches this year, 5-setters galore, and just haven't been able to find a way to get over that finish line. Today they do. And I'm going to pick Chicago Untouchables to win that potentially in 5 sets.
This one's tough. Once again, I'm not sure that it's always going to be my opinion who should be on the court. Compared to a coach, that's hard to say. But I don't really have I don't know how much faith I have that either of these teams is going to put the team on the court that puts them in the best place to win, based on some of the decisions that we've seen. And to be frank, when you're both sitting at, I think it's a pretty defendable stance, and it makes it almost. This is a coin flip to me of which team is going to put that team out there. I think I'm going to make the bet that Will Ragland alone is why I'm going to take Chicago in touchables.
He's a good guy to bet on.
He did a lot of personal finagling to be here this weekend with related to work stuff. He's not going to stick around all weekend after that first loss to play this last one and just take the loss. I think he's ready to just take it and take some pride back home to the Windy City.
That's a great point, Nick. I think, though, conversely, in favor of LA Blaze, I think they're going to win this match. The key for them is that they just have to limit their errors. Regardless of who's on the court, they have to put the ball in play. We saw them make too many errors the other day. They have the capabilities to do it, to play a competitive match, and to get the win, they just have to play some clean volleyball and finish the regular season off with a very important victory for them. But it will be a very hard-fought match for sure by both sides.
Yeah, those are our predictions for the day. And just to go back to the match yesterday that does not count in the standings, the All-Star game.
Of course it doesn't.
If it did count, and hey, in Nick's rules, he didn't want it to count. Well, if it had counted, he would tie me for first place, as Mr. England over here was the only one who had faith in the American Conference, as they were victorious in 3 sets. Matt, myself, and Noah, we took the National Conference. And while we were all very well dressed, it didn't work out in our favor. So congratulations to Nick on being the only one to correctly pick the winner of the All-Star game. We would say that the winner of the All-Star game gets home court advantage in the postseason, but we'll be right back here at the Pierce Sports Center where all matches have been all season long. And that will conclude today, the final day of the 2022 regular season. Again, 9 a.m. is Freedom against the Sasquatch, Southern Exposure against the Matadors, Tornadoes against the Kraken, and then Chicago Untouchables against the LA Blaze. We'll see you then.
Well, Matt, we are back courtside after what was quite a historic moment last night as the American Conference All-Stars took down the National Conference All-Stars in a 3-0 sweep, but plenty of more volleyball. If you're just tuning in, I'm Nick England. This is Matt Prosser, Noah Chast on the sideline. And today, pursuing the perfect season to go 10-0, New Jersey Freedom. They're definitely battling against an understaffed Seattle Sasquatch team. I don't think there's a lot of mystery here, but kind of what's your breakdown on this one?
Well, it's never been done before. Team in the NVA going undefeated through the regular season, and Team Freedom has done that all season long, right? We have known that they're a strong team, regardless of who's with them, who's not with them. They're very deep, they're talented, and it certainly looks as if they will go undefeated, barring any major upsets here today. Seattle Sasquatch, only having 6 players with their group today, and losing to the Stunners yesterday in an hour and 8 minutes in that 3-set sweep, not scoring more than, I believe, 19 points in any of the 3 sets that they played. I expect Freedom to do a lot of the same today as well, and at the end of this match, Freedom will be 10-0 and secure that #1 overall seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw anything from that Friday match, it was just a battle of the Titans with your Stunners taking on Freedom. That was just one of those matches. Sometimes when you get a 5-setter, it's teams blowing each other out at alternating matches or alternating sets, and you get to the end and it's an exciting one. But that was just, 25-23 across the board kind of thing. So if that's any indicator of then how hard the Stunners played Sasquatch yesterday, I think that Freedom's about to do the same thing.
Yeah.
The only caveat maybe is the fact that basically every starter just played a match last night in the All-Star match. So.
Well, I mean, we did see Ryan Kenny, over here in the broadcast booth with you. Jake Nomazik didn't play as well. Paul Balanzik could get some action. Thomas Burrell. You're right though. Elias, Alou, Cap, Norman all did get some extra reps in that All-Star game for about a set and a half, maybe 2 sets total overall. So, we'll see if fatigue, is going to play a factor. But, however, I still think Team Freedom at a 72% effort level, and physicality level will still take care of business here.
I totally agree with you. And this is one of those things that we made as an adjustment from the 2021 to the 2022 season. obviously based on trying to provide a reliable and consistent product for our season, and to have more events and just chances for fans to watch volleyball, we moved it so that teams only play 2 matches a weekend instead of 1 match every single day, because to play volleyball at this level, you just can't play 3 back to back. And so it's been great to see that these guys only have 2 per weekend, because again, obviously the goal is long term. It's not weekends, it's a match here and a match there, just like other regular pro sports. But that's what we're growing towards.
Hopefully.
But so it's great to see. But in terms of a lot of the names you mentioned there, we see some of the reserves being used, and this certainly does not worry you in any capacity. But you see out there Jake Milnazik with Tim Ferreter, Joe Norman, of course, getting started on the right. Ryan Kenny will be setting, Matt Buffum in the middle, and I believe that was Tom Burrell was opposite of him, but it could be Blonzik, not too sure. Ryan Alou wearing that white jersey, of course. Confirmation it was in fact Tom Burrell. So we're going to see the Buffum-Burrell power duo that have played with each other on a variety of teams throughout the NVA since their debut in 2020. Played on the then Tennessee Tyrants, moved to Chicago Untouchables, and now home on New Jersey Freedom, where they've spent a majority of their adult time playing. On the side of Seattle Sasquatch, Sam Cole playing outside. It's going to be Pat Gallahan in the middle. Oh, apologies. Sam Cole still staying in the middle, so that's going to be Sam Cole in the middle, Pat Gallahan in the middle as well. Tenatali on the right, Coronado on the outside. Opposite of him is going to be Damien Higashi, and of course McDonald with the hands. But it's time to get underway. Ferreter with a set the outside, good block deflection, a recycle, and Norman with his first swing is dug. Coronado putting some pace, but an easy dig for Alou. And there it is, Tim Ferreter putting that one away, and Freedom on the scoreboard first. Nice little bit of control there, though. Sasquatch, I want to see them keep battling. It's a tough.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to see them battle, but over the course of this match, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to win those long rallies, get the ball past this big block, and also pass against such a strong serving team that is, the New Jersey Freedom.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you lose track of is, this is the 5th season of the NBA. Teams like the OC Stunners is the only team that's been around since its inception, originally Team Blizzard. And so there's a lot of guys, we haven't seen as much of them this season, Dylan Emery, but Dylan's been around since the league's inception. Matt Hilling's been with the Blizzard team on and off for a long time as well. I was part of that original squad. So there's a few of us that are still around from the very, very beginning. But you look at where the Stunners are now, and they've clearly had 5 years to grow. So any team that's newly getting added in, it's just such an uphill battle. So, it's understandable where Sasquatch is at this point. Hopefully they can give Freedom a bit of a game here. But Tenatali sends that one over the top of the Freedom block. Excited to see the matches that follow this one on the American side, because there is some number crunching to be done.
Certainly very impactful playoff picture matches throughout the rest of the day, definitely.
And we've been crunching the numbers over here, and we'll explain that as those matches come around. But the thing I think I'm most excited about in almost all instances, simply winning for the non-Ramblers and non-Stingers, the other 4 teams. Their destiny's in their hand. It's not win and see what happens.
Right.
It's, winning should be all it takes for most scenarios. So that'll be a fun one to keep track of as the day rolls on. But until then, you can keep an eye on number 8, Jake Milnazik, going over the top. But he misses that one long. My apologies. I missed the call on that one. So that's going to be a point instead for Seattle Sasquatch. 3-3 here. Tenatali tries to get after that one. Doesn't quite get the tail he's hoping for on the end of that serve. Good pass by Higashi. Call his block back. Miscommunication, who's going to take that? And Coronado trying to find some space. Chaos ensues for Sasquatch. McDonald on the court. Norman goes back, no one home. Sasquatch all over it, trying to find some scrap, but just cannot find each other out of the way there. Ryan Kenny doing a nice job managing some of those tighter passes, getting out of the way and delivering some hittable balls for his guys. Javon Coronado, dug by Buffum. Set to Burrell, kill for Burrell. It's great to see a variety of players like Ryan Kenny last night helping out on the broadcast.
I was going to ask you, Nick, how did he do?
He's fantastic.
Should I be concerned about my job?
No, but you know, I'm excited that Ira Thor has been looking around as someone that's been in this broadcasting space for a long time. You know, Kenny's in that New Jersey area, and Kenny's kind of interested in seeing what he might be able to do, participating with some of the colleges. So,
There you go.
you know, we saw Jacob Vanderbeek from the Matadors get involved. Ryan, the Moneymaker Mountie from the Texas Tyrants, had a good time with you. Seemed like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he was.
Should I be concerned?
No, I don't think you should either, but Ryan did a good job as well, and excited to look back and watch that to see, you know, how we can all get better, you know, on our seats and what some of the players can bring to the broadcast as well. So.
Yeah, I think that's one of those exciting things, and it's kind of the funny part now that we've both more or less retired from playing. We're getting some clarification on the stop, but it's been kind of interesting as we've stopped playing now. The next part of our game is, you know, we watch and listen to how we talk and trying to refine those little things and make sure that we're providing an enjoyable broadcast. So, like I said, we've got game tape to review after the weekend ourselves.
Always. You can always get better.
There was some blood on the court there. They're getting cleaned up, and we are now all good to go. Play will resume with Buffum on the float. Quick set. Javon handles that one well. Roll shot. Gallahan throws a stab out. And another swing, but dug. High deflection. McDonald finds Higashi, but dug by Kenny. And a lost set there. Doesn't get the handle that Freedom is looking for. And nice scrapping from Sasquatch. Well rewarded there. Got to say, Damian Higashi may not be wearing the off-color jersey today, but you got to remember that he is still a libero, and he's passed very well for this team all year long. So Freedom should try to avoid him. There's some other targets.
And especially without a libero on the floor for Sasquatch, that means a middle blocker will be passing. That should definitely be a service target.
Yeah, him or a right side or someone, but someone that's not used to being in the service reception. So. Joe Norman, good serve off the tape. Cole swings deep into the corner for a point. You talked about it earlier, Sam Cole, while he's playing middle here, plenty of experience playing outside, right side. He kind of does it all. So they're looking for an easier offensive route. Don't go to the middle where you're, you know, it's predicated on a good pass.
Right.
It has to be that perfect one. Get him back, let him air out. And well rewarded.
And Sam Cole's that player for Sasquatch that he can do that. He can hit from wherever they need him to hit. And that's the smart attack by Sam Cole as he misses that jump serve, unfortunately.
His serving was definitely a bright spot, though, against the Stunners.
Yeah.
He was actually cranking some pretty good serves.
Right.
Yeah, you can see here, Tenatali in middle back. The opposite is in serve receive. But once again, serving Damian Higashi, and you get a perfect pass. Unfortunately, the Freedom defense seems to be just too much. And the onslaught from the right side, Joe Norman hammers that down the line. The dig deflected out of bounds. So Nazik overpass. Might as well be a nice set there for the waiting Tom Burrell.
Nice quick response by Tom Burrell to be aware that that fast low pass was coming over the net, and he got on that one quick for the overpass kill.
Sometimes that fast low ball like you're talking about can kind of sneak up on you, and that's where you'll see some missed swings on the overpass. But
yeah, good awareness by Burrell there.
Ooh, left short by Milnazik. And 6-10. Lou with a little fancy footwork, nice pass, and tooled off the block by Ferreter. Burrell with the float. Good pass by Tenatali. Pat Gallahan has to tip that one over. Big line turn for Ferreter. Good rotation on that ball. Attacking zone 1 with a lot of power.
Yeah, Ferreter with a really nice high swing back to the line on that sort of out of system set with 3 blockers in front of him.
This one's out of system. McDonald making a trek across the court, and Tenatali rips it across court. Oh, that's a little chowdery there, but no call. Ref says play on. Tenatali once again dug by Burrell. Norman on the D-ball sends that one long, and the hustle for Sasquatch rewarded once again. I always love watching the middles from Freedom play defense because they actually are really quite good at it.
Yeah,
and
they
so
are.
they extend some rallies quite well. Sprayed pass there. Has to be set over by Norman. Coronado blocked back, covered, and Cole rolls one over.
Nice placement by Buffum there to go with that deep tip shot to the corner through the middle.
Higashi tries to roll that one, does not find it. And that's going to be Ryan Kenny to continue his serve. One-handed set, just not there. Tenatali, that one's going to go over the net, out of the bounds, outside the pin. And this is, I think, we're starting to see that kind of lead open up in a bit more of a manner that we expected. 15-7. Freedom waking up a little bit and getting the engine rolling here. Tight pass, thrown back down. Almost recovered, but not enough. A little spin to be put on that ball. That's going to be a point for Tenatali in Seattle. Norman on the outside, pinging that one off the right hand to Tenatali. And that's going to do the technical timeout for us. First one to 16. Means a brief break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Back into it here as Ferreter looks to jump. Float instead. Bumps that back, one-handed stab from Malou. Good recovery by Gallahan. Tenatali sails that one long. One-handed stab from Alou keeps that one alive there.
So many weapons on Freedom's side. Even Alou, an all-star libero. Playing some great defense in the back row.
Ooh, just missed that pass. McDonald trying to manage, but too much there. Good pass by Coronado. Roll dug up there by Kenny.
Oh, nice set.
Oh, blocked back into Buffum's chest or face there. A lot of power on that from Milnazic, but the Seattle Sasquatch block waiting and ready. Alou in system. Norman with the kill. Nice set into the middle. Sam Cole getting involved. This is one of those things that it's kind of interesting. At this level, you need the middle blocker to slow down the offense, but if you can't set him, losing the arm of Sam Cole because of passing, it almost feels like you might want to put him somewhere that you're going to be able to set him more and maybe sacrifice some of the defense in the middle. I don't know. It's something to mess around with.
Double-edged sword, Nick, as they say.
Ooh, catching Milnazic high. Tenatali has found his serve. Oh, that was Javon Coronado, apologies. That was a nice deep serve, forcing Freedom to make a bit of a move there. Good pass from Ferreter. Easy kill for Burrell. Nice 3 route there. Coronado with a high pass, means a swing to Higashi. Should be recycled, but Gallahan's one-handed stab misses that one. It's one of the disadvantages of having your middle in the back row at all times. Norman off the tape. Tenatali leaves that one short. I see Sasquatch is doing a good job in the out-of-system stuff of keeping the ball up, but what I'd really like to see more is just sometimes they're trying to force the swing because they feel that sense of urgency, needing to score points. And
yeah, trying to create something out of nothing.
Balls in the net. And again, yeah, I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible for these guys of like ways that they can just see a couple more points because those may not matter here, but in terms of the growth of a team, half of the teams in the league, those points matter very much. So unfortunately, that overpass from Norman's serve is going to mean a Ryan Kenny throwdown. 23-11. Score has been doubled up here. Higashi with a nice pass. Sam Cole on the right side once again. Dug by Ferreter. And Norman swings it off of the hands of Cole. Set point for set number 1 here, 24-11. Well, Team Freedom showing that exactly why they're one of the scarier teams. Obviously, the record says something, but right now they've got 3 or 4 of their guys that started that huge match against the Stunners on the bench, and they're being quite successful. It doesn't matter who they plug in. They're seeing very positive outcomes. Tight set, and that's going to be a net from Freedom. That's the kind of stuff I do want to see cleaned up a little bit. There's been quite a few nets from Freedom. You don't need to chase the ball into the net.
No.
Just get set.
Keep it clean and just stay out of the net. Take care of what you're supposed to do. Keep it simple.
Yep.
No reason to give away easy points like that.
Sam Cole resumes the master serve there, but Burrell continues getting involved with kill number 4, if I'm not mistaken, for him. And that's going to do it, 25-12. We'll be right back. All right, well, after a decisive win, 25-12, New Jersey Freedom wasted 0 time, letting the Sasquatch know that, hey, man, you are not going to be the team that adds a 1 to that loss column this season.
Definitely not, especially not in this match today between these two teams.
Well, Matt, I don't know if the stats are all that worth mentioning, but here's an interesting one for you. The passing, not looking too bad. Sasquatch passing at 50%. Freedom passing at a nice 70% clip. They're very much in system. However, Sasquatch hitting at a 16% efficiency. That's abysmal to be polite. But Denatali keeping that one alive. And Coronado swings that one into the tape. Good pass from Higashi. Sam Cole trying to get involved with a double block of Milnazik and Buff, and we're all over that one. Kenny hits the spinner. Higashi looks for high hands, plenty of space to go after Norman there, but good discipline block, not chasing that one high.
Yeah, I don't want to chase it high. Get that block nice and tight, low over the net. Force the hitter to go out of bounds like that.
Roll shot short. Oh man, punched all the way out of the back of the court. That's, we always talk about how rare it is to see a kill out of the back of the court off of a blocker. You know, how hard you got to hit that one to see the ace come out of the back of the court. Good pass from Tenatali. Fed into Sam Cole. Oof. Corner swing coming across there. Attempted from Milnazik. Misses that location. Well, while this one's getting off the ground, we're going to hear our sideline man, Mr. Noah Chast, chatting with Team Freedom's manager. Go ahead and take it away.
I'm here with team manager Aaron Glore. The microphone's now on. Aaron, I'll ask you again, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. A little bit less so after Jake just missed his serve right there, but still a pretty good morning so far.
Is that something he does often?
Hard to say. It's a little hot and cold with these guys sometimes. You know how it is, Noah.
Absolutely. And so you're team manager, but you're also team mom. So what sort of responsibilities do you do to keep these guys in check on the daily?
Make sure they're following the rules, Noah. I'm a big rule follower. All these guys know that. But, I really do anything and everything. Keep the snack box full, some content for media. Great job, Rye. You're doing fantastic. Lots of positive affirmations, but also some heckling. Mom's got to be tough on their own guys,
And I kind of anointed you, I think it was last event, Team Humbler. What effort do you make sure you keep these guys in check?
Just a little bit back to that, mom's got to be the toughest on her own kids. Tough mom love really makes a person better, a more well-rounded spirit there, Noah.
Go into the snack bin that I've seen you have. I mean, how did that come to be? What's in there and why do you have it?
Well, there isn't a human on this earth that eats more food than Joe Norman. So we have to keep that snack box full. The hot pick is usually Uncrustables, but Noah, I gotta tell you, the service levels on Uncrustables this year, you just can't get them anywhere. It's really tough. It's been a tough season for that. But other than that, we got some fruits, we got little applesauce pouches, lots of liquid IV. These guys work hard, sweat out all those electrolytes, gotta replenish them. But yeah, just go to Costco and make it happen, Noah.
So you're saying Joe has no Uncrustables at the moment?
There are no Uncrustables. I have not been able to get them for the past 2 events.
And he's still out there. I mean, that's just so brave. Are you proud?
I'm so proud of him to be working through this tough situation with the lack of Uncrustables.
Okay, as team mom, will give you the ultimate mom question. Who's your favorite?
Oh gosh, I say this to them all. I hate them all equally, and I love them all equally.
Final match of the season here. Chance to be...
Oh, yes, Tom! Sorry, Noah. You got to cheer for your boys.
No, you have to, especially on an overpass kill like that. Tom Burrell getting up and putting it straight down. And we've seen a lot of that from Tom and all of your middles throughout the season. A chance to be the first regular season undefeated team in NVA history. What has it been like kind of from the managerial role to see this team come together?
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty long time coming. This core group of guys has been together for quite some time now, and I think we're finally starting to see the results of that chemistry play off. We're just really proud, but I think the most important thing is that we take all matches seriously, even though you hear some chuckles over here. Every team on the other side is serious, no matter who's over there.
So what are some things maybe behind the scenes that some people who watch the Freedom and see their record and see their play might not know about them as to why they click so much?
It's a lot of good vibes over here, to be quite honest. We attract a certain kind of player, so we all love to laugh together, joke together, but most importantly, we keep each other honest, and we keep it in a constructive way. No negative energy over here.
It's definitely something we've noticed from this team, very high positive energy, which is easier to do when you're winning, which you've done a lot of that.
Yeah.
How do you keep the energy high as the team manager, team mom, when maybe things aren't looking the best, maybe mid-match?
Yeah, my gosh, that was crazy. That's a great question. I kind of heard it, but Tom just had an amazing chicken wing dig. We're just constantly giving these guys, lots of feedback. Thankfully, they're super receptive, and they're able to make changes kind of right away. So that's, makes it much easier for us as a managerial staff.
Would this team be this good without Aaron Glore?
I think so. I think they'd be okay. I think things might be a little bit harder, but I think they'd be okay.
I appreciate the time. Aaron Glore, team manager, team mom here on the Freedom sideline. I'll send it back over to Nick and Matt.
We heard it there first. It sounds like a perfect season. All you need is good vibes, applesauce, and Uncrustables.
And a devoted team mom.
And a devoted team mom. There was a lot of polite, knowing Erin so well. She's just such a present figure with the NVA, always making sure these guys are getting around. Anyone that works in the league knows her quite well. Pretty funny to hear a little bit more insight from her, and that was some of the most positive feedback I've ever heard from her on behalf of her players.
I think manager Aaron was keeping things clean for the microphone.
Yeah. Ooh, Tom Buffalo, nice little transition. Ryan Kenny getting crafty on the right side. Buffalo working hard to get up in transition and well rewarded off of the dig from Burrell.
My dad.
Twelve to 6. Freedom wasted no time getting out to the early start, and Pat Gallahan going cross court and is going to miss that float. Ooh, Ryan Kenny goes from the jump serve formerly to a little bit of a float serve there. Nazik buries that one down the line. Matt Elias had a pretty solid showing last night during that All-Star match, but Ryan Kenny not wasting any time transitioning back to the court after his guest appearance during set number 1 with me over here in the broadcast booth. Goes right back to the top spin. Sam Cole attacking the double block of Buffum and Norman, and man, that is a lot of size. One of the things that I think is so frequently lost in the broadcast is you don't realize how tall these guys actually are.
Yeah.
When you see Norman next to Buffum, you might think Buffum is a 6'4", 6'5" kind of guy. Nope, Buffum is 6'8", and Joe Norman is 6'10" or 6'11". Yeah. There's just some massive size there, so certainly no easy feat to beat that. And there it is, Jake Milnazik, massive cross-court swing going 2-2 and catches the line. And then we're going to see a challenge from Seattle Sasquatch in out on that. We'll have to see how this one unfolds.
And I can tell you, playing with Jake in high school, he loves his cross-court shots. He always hit the hardest angles I've ever seen as a player. And it seems like no matter where you push that ball, his thumb is going straight down and he's hitting it down that angle every single time. And it's undefendable.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive cut there for sure.
I don't know how confident he is with that last swing placement because there was a pretty audible dang it when he saw the challenge come out. So maybe he didn't really see it and was just kind of hoping that one would go under the rug.
shot there. Hard to see there, and that's if it was ball compression or not. But the ball is certainly on the outside part of the line. We're going to see that coming down. And call is confirmed. So that's going to be ball in. Good challenge. I mean, that was as close as it really does get. That was on the
I think that
outside
is a
of the
good
line.
challenge. And we saw it right there on the video, though, the outside of the line, and point stays for Freedom.
Tenatali's nice swing into the corner there, using every bit of the hypotenuse of the court going across. Ferreter, big swing, easy cover for Alou on the overpass. Now Norman just thumps one down. And we're gonna see a 16-8 technical timeout. We'll be right back. Well, I'd like to say it was a little breather for Seattle Sasquatch to get kind of recentered here. Unfortunately, 16-8 score has been doubled up, and that's just, you know, there's not a lot of sun on the horizon here for Sasquatch. Looks more like a setting sun. Tough first season. Back set, Tenatali, one of his first kills this match, able to best the hands of Norman. Sam Cole, jump serve coming in, gets a piece of it. Nice pass by Molnazic, though. A little bit of chaos. And a net by the Sasquatch on a free ball coming over, just getting too aggressive or antsy, seeing that one coming. They wanted a piece of it, but just land clean and reset. Out of system, Cole goes for the pipe, misses wide. I like the swing, execution just not quite there. Higashi once again getting targeted. Now a deflection off the block. Ferreter tries to poke it back over. The Coronado takes a swing, and Tom Burrell says, "Take it back, sir. We don't want any of that." Nagashi catching as many serve reception attempts as the rest of the team combined during that first set, passing at an impressive 73%. So I do want to be a little critical of Freedom. They'll like serve kind of anywhere else, and they're having a lot more success. They're determined to give the libero a lot of reps here.
Yeah.
Kenny the Ferreter. Norman tossed that one pretty far into the court, but good swing management. Gonna come back as a free ball here for Freedom. Ooh, that's a back row violation there from Milnazik. Big swing, recycled, and another chance. Coronado, crafty roll shot, but goes wide. Joe Norman just watches that one miss the court. 22-10. Misconnection there, but Coronado able to pull it out. Block touch sends it back. Freedom gets another chance. Norman misses that one just long. Good save from Coronado there to pull that one out of the net. You know, once you get under the net there, you got to do some special angle work to get that ball over the net. Able to do so. Fortunately down double their score here at 11-22. Man, this is a Mount Everest-sized mountain to climb. Burrell floats, good pass, but easy dig, and now Freedom in system. Milnazik blocked, covered. Kenny swings. Gotta say, the really unfortunate part here is that I think Seattle's actually handling the serve receive part of this.
Yeah, they are passing
pretty
the ball
well.
pretty well.
They just can't do anything with it once it's been passed.
Yeah.
Multiple guys are just getting 10x swings to kills on their ratio, and it's just, they're trying time and time again, but just can't find points with the court. Coach Carlo Edra talking to Tom Burrell as he gets to the bench and asking a little bit of, wants to give some constructive feedback. And he says, Tom, what part of the arm did that hit when you missed that one? Kind of a throwback to manager Aaron Glore. The lighthearted nature, they all like to poke fun at each other. But that's going to do it for set number 2, 25-12, the exact same score we saw in the first. We're going to get right back for set number 3, likely the final set right after this. All right, well, this one is going to show us something interesting. You got a grip of setters on the court for Team Freedom. We're going to see a true 6-2, meaning not using subs, but just the guys on the court. So Ryan Kenny and Ian Kapp will be the setters here. Ian Kapp was a setter in college. He's picked up so much of his hitting prowess as an outdoor player, one of the top-rated grass players in the country. He is, obviously excels indoor, but that is his specialty. So he's on the right side now. That means Norman's going to take a break. Milnazik and Elias, another great grass player, getting involved there. So very different lineup here. Freedom just wanting to mix things up. Buffum takes the overpass. Kenny fakes, pulls the block, feeds it to Buffum. That was an awesome little exchange from Kenny.
Now Ryan Kenny with the wherewithal to double arm lift and jump as if he was going to attack, takes 1.5 blockers with him, and then sets the middle for an easy point.
Another great dig by Kenny. Thrown into the corner, and there's the kill. Man, there's the intelligence you see. I was talking about, the grass and the beach presence from the games of Milnazik, Elias, Buffum. So many of these guys play a variety of ways, and they just pick up those little cheeky ways to score points. There's also always power
Nothing
alley
cheeky about that?
Yeah, just put a little more elbow grease on that one. Sam Cole has not really been passing this match too much. It's just any time that Tenatali is stuck in this rotation, so he's not able to be in the serve receive. And now mixing it up, going short. Gets the overpass, and that transitions into a Matt Buffum kill in the middle. Ryan Kenny hits another serve, keeps it on Sam Cole there. Tip covered by McDonald. Gallahan turns on two. Buffum able to cover himself, and Jake Milnazik tools the block. So there certainly feels to be a little bit of magic with this roster from Freedom that we've never seen.
Well, there was a bit of a pokey set, it looked like that time from Ryan Kenny there as Buffum played it out of the net. So good play by Team Freedom.
Nice serve, missed set. That one's gonna fall through McDonald's hands. Ball might have just been a little bit slippery and doesn't quite get it. 6-0 now. And that will be a timeout, a very, very quick one here. We're gonna see a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, Matt, I think that was probably a good timeout the way this was going, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's really going to do much. And I think this is something that you had said that I found really quite enlightening a day or two ago when we were talking about it. And I was saying, when do you use that timeout? What's your approach on it? You said, sometimes you have to consider what point the game state is in, but also something I hadn't really considered a whole lot from a strategic standpoint. What do you hope to achieve by it? Is it just like, are you just stepping off the court, or is it, is it a mindset adjustment? Is it a refresh? What is your actual goal? Because if things are kind of just heading downhill, spiraling out of control helplessly,
right?
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes a timeout is used just to slow down momentum, and maybe you don't need to say really very much in the timeout. Other times you do have to be very strategic about the message you're trying to send to your team in those moments where you do get a chance to talk. In this situation for the Sasquatch, not much to be said. Other than just trying to, in the momentum that the run is in that moment from the Freedom. But obviously that's not as easy to do,
Right.
you know, in this situation. So it's very situational.
It also speaks to how different those timeouts are when you get to your tyrants, your stunners, your stingers, your freedom, and your rambler squads. There's been guys that have just played so much experienced volleyball that they can get in there and they'll run a timeout without the coach even needing to, because they know what needs to be adjusted.
Exactly.
And so it just speaks to, and it's kind of, you'll see it across all sports. But at this point, some of these players have been playing as long or longer than a coach might have even been coaching. So sometimes they've just seen it so much themselves that they know exactly what's right there.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just some real brief, you know, strategic information about who you want to keep your serves on, or what seams you want to attack, or, you know, maybe a little bit technique, you know, for a passer getting their arms away from their body a little bit more. Or, you know, block and defense, your blockers making sure they're not reaching up too high or diving in, or, you know, just technically a little bit stronger than what they're doing. You know, small little things like that. And hopefully they take something from it and, you know, can translate it onto the court.
Well, there's certainly a need to translate it onto the court right now with 9-2 for Freedom. Big swing from Coronado, able to best the block of Freedom. Nice pass from Milnazik. Outside to Elias. Off the block, Kenny makes the move, just barely misses it. A little hand-eye coordination miss there, it looked like. Certainly not a lack of effort. Sasquatch down 4-9. And Elias passing very well. And there's a nice swing to finish it off. Man, this is scary just to showcase exactly how many sets of hands are on the court right now. Half of the guys on Freedom are setters that are out on the court right now. So out of system is not a term that will be applied with any frequency here. Sam Cole swings. Tom Burrell wants absolutely nothing to do with that.
And you've said it a few times, but it's that grass and beach experience where their setters can hit and their middles can pass and their hitters can set. It's because they play, you know, when you're in grass and beach, you do every facet of the game. So that's why they've worked on all of those skills, and they can shake up their lineup and look relatively the same.
Yeah, it's a great way to contextualize that for anyone that's kind of maybe only seen one facet of the game before. And you see some of the biggest grass event going on in Wapaka, Wisconsin this weekend. Some AVP events going on there in the sand as well. You've got AVP Hermosa going on this weekend. So all the different parts of the sport. And of course, NVA bringing you some more indoor. But it's funny to see just how those games impact. One that we don't talk about and is rarely played, but former Freedom outside hitter Chris Vaughn actually played it a little bit, was snow volleyball, something that's been kind of growing a little bit and kind of still in its exhibition mode a bit more. They'll put on some events, but that's definitely the lesser seen, but an interesting one all the same. Higashi with a good pass. Coronado trying to challenge Kenny, but Kenny all too ready. And now that means that Milnazik's just going to terminate down the line. This is really a nod back to the original 2020 squad that we saw. I mentioned earlier the Tennessee Tyrants. 5 of the guys on the court that you see, except for Matt Elias, all were the starting crew that was playing there. The only one really missing there is kind of just that second outside position, which was Ian Kapp instead of the right side he's playing right now. Ryan Kenny tries to take a swing but doesn't connect. Other NVA guys that were on that squad, Chicago Untouchables, Piotr Namiotko is on there. Dan Nugent, brother of Chris Nugent, was on that squad.
Yep.
And John Cunningham joking in the chat for a Freedom team that's normally one of the biggest and tallest out there. They have their under 6'3" squad on the court right now.
Yeah, the guys that fit on the plane are all now on the court as opposed to the likes of Norman Seifert, Paul Bolonzik, and the three towers going on over there. When Matt Buffum's not listed as one of your tallest players, it's a bit scary. Tenatali swings line. Cap reads it and just misses the execution. Stares a bit blankly there, kind of laughs that one off. 14-7. The all too spoken tagline for this match has been, and the score is doubled for Freedom over Sasquatch. It's happened every set so far.
Yeah.
To the pin, nice block move. Tenatali gets set well.
And one of the things I actually was chatting with your Rambler teammates about was this Freedom team. We've seen them compete and dominate in many matches, and we've seen them pull out tough 5-set wins. But I'm very curious and excited to see how they do when the chips are on. You know, it's playoffs, win or go home. And regular season record means nothing come next event. So to see what they have to bring to the table when everything's on the line, it's going to be a different team. I mean, playoffs are a different animal in every sport. So I'm excited to see this kind of cool, calm, relaxed presence that they have now, if that translates to playoffs.
It's a great point. I think that's why I was so excited to see the Stunners Freedom match, because I think that's where you're starting to get a little bit of a taste of what we can expect during Event 6. Wow, good speed up on the approach line there from Milnazik. Able to get just behind that ball and tap it in about 25 feet into the court. Perfect pass by Cole. Gallahan gets a chance, but Kenny waiting. And another line swing, Jake Milnazik with the no-looker over the shoulder. You talked about how well he hits the angle. No, you couldn't be more right, but man, he's got the line swing down pat too.
I think he heard me and he wants to let me know, no, I've learned a thing or two since high school, okay? I'm a pro athlete.
Look, Ma, I made it. There it is. Coronado's been struggling he's swinging well, making not many errors, but just can't find the terminal kill and gets a big one down the line there. Callahan misses another standing float serve. Matt. Man, we had a day. We had a day yesterday on Friday with missed serves from Chicago and Tyrants, but stuff like that. If you're trying to put up a bit of a show here, that's one you can't do.
Unfortunately.
Now it's Coronado. Takes a good swing, but leaves it long by less than a foot. Freedom been playing very disciplined block and defense there. Their back row guys been set up very well around their block, so anything kind of not funneled to them, they've had a pretty good read on what's in and out. Roll shot short, picked up by Higashi. And now a swing down the line at Higashi. Too much heat to handle. And that's going to be 19-10. Nice serve, Coronado out of system. Cole tracks it down, free ball coming from Tenatali. Nice dig by McDonald, free ball coming over. Alou, Kenny, Elias. Easy 1, 2, 3. (20-10), the double score is back. Mazik tags the tape and catches Coronado outside of his body, 21-10. This has been a quick match on pace to maybe set a record for the fastest match in the NVA. We had a quick one yesterday as well at 1 hour and 8 minutes, but this one's potentially on track. Low set blocked back. Sasquatch gets another chance. Ryan Kenny wants that dig attempt back. Not quite strong enough. Mittens back row to get the dig. After this match, we're going to see the Inland Empire Matadors take on Orlando Southern Exposure. The winner of that match gets an automatic berth to event number 6 and punches the ticket. There's some math to be done still if the loser is automatically removed. Can't recall quite offhand, but we're going to have plenty of the ifs, ands going on throughout the rest of the day. So
that'll be a good one. Yeah, that'll be a good one. A lot on the line for that match.
We all had to make our predictions before the match on that, and I think we think so much about what's going on throughout the event. Sometimes you forget to stop and think about individual matches and the what's on the line there. And it was pretty funny when it got to you and I. We were sitting there thinking about that and a little bit of deer in headlights trying to figure out, man, how is this one going to unfold? How do teams plan to win?
Right. That one's going to be a battle for sure. It should be a very entertaining match.
A lot of eyes on Noah Losandro in the middle for the Matadors, as well as Eric Beatty, who's been a phenomenal addition on the outside for the Matadors.
Yeah.
For Exposure, looking at Johnny Gomez able to get that pass locked in.
And Mashikian on the left side, Lou Rich playing opposite, another middle playing where he needs to play. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting matchup as well.
Cheno Ofoha, of course, he had an absolute showing last night.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to see. 23-12. Both sets 1 and sets 2 were 25-12. We'll see if Freedom maintains a consistent score here. Big serve, good indicator that this one's going to go the way of Freedom. Out of system swing, Higashi into the block of Kenny and Burrell. 24-12. This is going to be match point here early. The next match will be coming to you live at noon, so we got enough of a break. You can get some Sunday laundry done so you don't have to worry about it later on today and dial back in for that next match at noon. Big serve, ace over, and there it is, 25-12 on all 3 sets. That's going to do it. Plenty of pressure from Ian Cap from the end line. And that is the perfect season for the New Jersey Freedom. Well, Matt, that's quite the exciting story for those guys. Seeing them coming through with that final 10-0.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Team Freedom going undefeated the first time in NVA history. A team has run the table through the regular season. Now, that phase of the season is done for them. That chapter is closed and moving on now into the playoff chapter in Event 6 and quarterfinals in a few weeks. So, that's where the rubber meets the road. You really got to get ready to play your best volleyball when your best is needed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the loss to your Stunners yesterday, Sasquatch season had already officially ended. Not that there was a lot of surprise there, but that will draw a conclusion to their inaugural NVA season, 1-9.
Well, it's always tough to be an expansion team. It takes time to develop a club, an identity, a style of play. They did get one victory over the Tornadoes earlier in the season, so they can hang their hat on that. And, hopefully they can go home in the offseason, really put together a quality group of players and build on what they've already done.
Yep.
Now they know what to expect for season number 2 for them moving forward. And, again, just creating that foundation to continue to try to find some success up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, and it's great to see some additions, an area that we may not normally look to, but you look at guys like Peter Silva, Sam Cole, Damian Higashi. There's a couple good pieces that we're really seeing just being consistent, making a name for themselves throughout the season. So there's definitely some bright spots for that team to maybe anchor the next kind of iteration of the roster around.
Certainly.
But right now we've got a player of the match interview. Noah Chass is going to take it away. Noah, over to you.
Thanks, Nick. Thomas Burrell, our man of the match. Tom, you were 6 for 7, and even on that last attempt, you ended up getting the block to get the point, so you were almost unstoppable in the middle. I mean, it seemed like you guys were having fun out there. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, that was – we still came out focused today, but we're on a roll, and then we just started enjoying ourselves. And that's just our volleyball, just to have fun, and that's when we play our best.
In that third set, you mixed up the lineup, putting Cap on the right side and Elias outside, and you didn't miss a beat. What does that say about the Freedom's depth?
Oh yeah, like we have all those guys. They play outside, right side, because they're all amazing grass players. But at the same time, it's just like, we haven't done it all season, but it just clicks. So we just have like a lot of chemistry with each other. It just works out.
The first ever undefeated regular season in NBA history. You're a huge part of it. I mean, how does that feel?
It feels amazing, but next event, it's playoffs. It doesn't matter. It's clean slate, back to business.
Absolutely. And it's been a pleasure watching you all season, especially this weekend. I know there was a chance you guys weren't here this weekend. There were some issues with your flight. I mean, explain to me what happened there on Thursday.
Yeah, we had a connecting flight in San Francisco, and we thought we had some time to eat. And I was like, guys, we have like 10 minutes till we're boarding. They're like, oh, it's fine. Ended up missing our flight. Gates closed like 5 minutes before we got there. Yeah, not happy about that.
So you almost caused this team to not even be here this weekend.
Whoa, not me. I was the one being responsible. They all know. They know what I'm talking about right now. Brian's looking at me.
Okay, I heard some other things from some other Freedom players that maybe it was Tom's fault, and that's not true?
It might as well be my fault. It might as well be. It's my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
What was his fault was this win today, 6 of 7 with 5 blocks as well, I should add. Tom Burrell, our man of the match, the New Jersey Freedom, 10-0 on the regular season.
Well, there's a lot of great to see it here. The Freedom boys getting behind Tom Burrell.
Yeah.
They've had 10 man of the match moments this year as they finish off the perfect season. Pretty funny to hear him being, the sole reason, you heard it here first, that the team almost missed some flights. We're going to take a quick look at our schedule here, though, of what you can expect to see throughout the rest of the day. We've got a match coming up at noon. Like I said, that's going to be Orlando Southern Exposure taking on the Inland Empire Matadors at 3 o'clock. We're going to see that will be
Tornadoes Kraken following that.
And then the final 6 o'clock match is going to be the LA Blaze, Chicago Untouchables. It's drawing a bit of a blank. Glad you were ready to catch me up there. So plenty more volleyball to play today, and this one was a little bit of a slower match, but man, the next 3 really should be some exciting volleyball. So just view this as a warm-up at home for the fans while we get ready for everything coming your way. Like I said, 12, 3, 6 o'clock. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on all major social media platforms. Tons of awesome TikToks, Instagram posts, and of course, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and make sure to hit that thumbs up down below, like, subscribe, and that's going to do it for us. As always, I'm Nick England, Matt Prosser. You got Noah Chouse on the sideline. Ira Thor still with the team. He'll be here later on today. We'll see you at noon.